live in the
It's
studio.
going to come out really, really cool.
Wow. Did you produce the beat?
Yeah, it's going to be. All right. Well, we're here back at the MITA studio with MITA Unshackled, Demitri Downing again, with my co-hosts.
Rita Valenzuela.
And Destinee Blanco.
And we are thrilled today to be joined by what I consider perhaps one of the innovators of the cannabis industry. And I mean, just an incredible honor to have them join us today. We have Grow Sciences, Matt and Mike from Grow Sciences. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for having us, man.
And
Happy to
first,
be here.
before we start, I wanted to bust out our 1942, a toast to you guys, to your organization, your success.
I think
Cheers.
we're gonna toast your team today. I think
Appreciate
that's
that.
even
In the
better.
Caribbean Blue Solo Cups.
While we're over here
Absolutely. I
getting
love soul.
toasted on
All
Grow
right.
Sciences.
We got to thank Hippie Chicks for that 1942. So let's
Thank you.
start.
That is like water, though. Like when you drink
It
42, I could have just
It's
a cup
very
of
smooth.
it.
It really is. No, but it's so cool to have you guys. It's like, I mean, you guys have developed like a cult following in the Arizona cannabis industry. So we're going to dive deep into why that is. But I think people will recognize why that is as we get to know you guys a little better. So let's start by doing some brief introductions and history, how you guys got into the cannabis industry, et cetera. Mike, do you want to go first?
Sure. Matt and I have known each other since, I don't know, 2015 or 14-ish. We tried to find the first email where we met, but
Yeah.
introduced by a mutual friend. And I own a dispensary in Washington, D.C., which is why I was introduced to him, because he was
I would say
cultivating
we
here.
met in 2013, but I scared the shit out of him at our first meeting, so we really became friends in 2014.
What do you mean scared the shit out of him?
Yeah, Mike, what happened?
Let's hear that story.
He was trying to ship me pounds via FedEx to Washington, D.C.
Okay. No, we be frank. I talk about how I used to ship from Tucson and Phoenix to Boston in the 90s.
It made so much sense to me, though.
What
in
happened
that-
was,
in
made
is
2013.
he's like, oh, that's cool. You've got a dispensary in D.C. And he pulls up the website on his phone, and he's looking at pictures of the weed, which is mediocre because it was a new market. There was only a few growers, still is. And no one was really good at it. Still isn't. And there's a couple people
I haven't
doing
been there
it.
in forever.
But he's like, this isn't weed.
Yeah.
Like,
you
let me show you my weed.
Oh,
And he
wait.
calls a guy in his grow. He's like, hey, I need you to just pluck off a nug. Send me a picture of it right now.
2014, a grow. We'll get into that in a second.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, but you jumped in. You were a dispensary in DC.
Yes.
So you were in the cannabis industry before Grow
Yeah.
Sciences.
Yeah.
So when did that start?
They opened up their program, applications accepted in 2011, and they had a scoring system. It wasn't a lottery, which made it a little bit tougher. But, I was granted it in 2012, and then we opened in 13.
Were you in the cannabis industry before that?
Not at all.
Okay, so 2012 was 10 years is a long time.
Sure. It
So-
is, it seems.
2012, 2016, you got your dispensary in DC, which is was medical. Is that
It was medical.
Yeah.
It still is.
it still is
Actually,
medical?
it's turning rec as we speak.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, then you met Matt.
Yeah, Matt and I met. We hung out a couple of times over a
Shipping
couple
pounds
of
to you in
years.
DC.
Yeah.
We'll
Yeah.
go over that.
And what makes weed mediocre? Like, what
He was
characteristics?
selling. Okay, so in my defense, back then, the
First
first
of all,
thing
this
I
is the greatest product idea ever. Where
The
he's about
first
to
thing
go.
I saw on the website was a tea package, and it was sticks and stems in a bag that they were selling for $20 to go home and make tea.
Hold on. It was
Sticks
with
and
a tea
stems?
set, like a tea kit.
That's right.
And it
with
was
a tea.
desperation. we were working with whatever we had.
off,
Listen,
it was awesome.
you've got to
It was
understand too.
fucking awesome.
This is the early days, which is probably not uncommon in most states, where we had days there was nothing for sale, so you had to close because they ran out.
You needed a partner like Matt.
In
Well,
so many ways.
No, but it was. I used that meeting as the formation of Grow Sciences because I actually needed him as much because we met at the Vig in Arcade in McCormick Ranch, or was it Arcadia?
No,
It was-
Scottsdale,
it was
yeah.
McCormick Ranch, right by where we lived, and I started drinking, and I was like, whatever. I was a caregiver here, and when I said, he's like, yeah, I got this pen. And I looked, I was like, well, I'll just ship you. And he just, the look of like, he was just horrified, right? Like I could just tell like the color left his body. And he was like, is this fucking guy
color.
for, he's like, is this fucking guy for real? Like and I actually left that meeting and I was like,
Is this guy for real?
No. I knew he was for real, but it was more like, shit, dude. I didn't change, but like I was like, wow, there are people who who are doing this and doing this in a way that's a real business and it can be done, because I knew Mike was cool. Like, we had friends and we had a fun time and all this, but he didn't talk to me for probably, I don't know, 3 months or 4 months after that meeting. And I knew it. I told my wife, Emily, I was like, yeah, probably came on too strong. Bad play on my part. It just seems so easy. Like,
And this was 2016.
no, this was 2013.
Oh, 2013.
2014.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so then we just started hanging out after that, and we had talked about doing stuff, but I was killing it as a caregiver here.
Right.
You know, the whole thing, and Mike had his dispensary in D.C., and he was super active in that, and, you know, all of that. So it basically got formed after I got raided in 2016.
You got raided in 2016?
That's right. That's actually where I first heard about Grow Sciences, was in the 3 years ago. The news article came out on you guys.
Yeah. I mean,
not you, but something about
It was 6 years ago.
6 years ago. Okay.
Yeah, so I got so Arpaio, a week before he was voted out, did a raid on both of my facilities and did his newscast from the raid.
wow, I forgot about that. Maybe I heard about that in passing.
Terrible mugshot.
Great
Terrible
mugshot.
mugshot.
Great
My
mugshot. That'll be the
California
next
mugshot
picture
is
on
much
the
better.
mug.
I was gonna say that
Oh,
should
yeah.
be like a.
That's
Listen,
the.
I'll
should
use
be
a
your mugshot.
California mugshot
A
from when I was
strain.
younger. I will not use the it was an unfair mugshot.
We have a whole line of mugs that's coming out.
Yeah.
Actually, that's a
So-
test run and a practice joke.
Because during
I
this
would wear that
time,
on a
you know,
shirt.
obviously
It's
the
for sale on our
caregivers,
website.
and you know, at this point, you probably know that I think our market structure sucks. I mean, it really does, and it's limiting innovation, competition, entrepreneurship, opportunity, and all these things. And I didn't, you know, this last 10 years has been a giant lesson in economics for me. But you were operating as a caregiver. You developed kind of like a legendary status. I mean, you had like,
caregivers are legendary in their own mind.
yeah.
And
So
I certainly was. Just like
when
everybody
did you
else.
start in cannabis? When was your origins?
I went down to Tucson in August of 1997. I ran into someone named Ian Rockow, who's a good dear friend of mine, and who I just rekindled with 25 years later. Saw he was, back then you never showed a grow. No one knew what you did.
Right.
It was just such a different reality. But for whatever reason, he saw my love of cannabis and showed me into his closet, and he had a grow there. And 30 days later, I dropped out of school, moved.
You were up here at ASU, and then
I was at U of A actually for about an hour.
Well, are you serious? What were you studying?
I never went. I basically met him before school
An hour.
started.
So it was
and
like an incoming freshman?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I was done. And I just was
Interesting.
immediately into it. So I started growing then. Then I toured with Fish for a couple of years after that, and had some pretty shitty times after that we can spare. And
Yeah.
basically did Northern California.
when did you shift up to Northern California? Did you grow up there? Is that
Yeah, 2003, 2008.
2003?
2007 actually. Yeah,
You were going to be a wildcat.
Yeah, I won't acknowledge that because I did go back to school at ASU and I graduated from
Okay.
there years later.
Trash.
Listen,
Forks down.
we could just spend this whole podcast talking about why U of A is not a real college,
Oh, weird. I mean,
why it's not a real school.
Ouch.
Like,
I mean,
we should be
Family
accredited.
Guy shut down ASU, so.
That's right.
I don't
You know,
know,
after I
guy.
met Jake Plummer, I actually became a ASU fan as well. I'm a Wildcat at heart. But if that guy quarterbacked what I refer to as like a gang school, ASU, man, he is so cool. Have you guys chatted with that guy? He's coming. He's
in
coming
the
to
shroom
on
industry.
October 26th.
The psychedelics.
That's from my youth, so like I definitely know who it is.
Yeah, you know, he's coming to the MITA October 26th. Such a cool dude.
Your MITA shit now is a rock concert.
Well, I appreciate that. We're doing well.
It's not like a meeting event. I think it's fantastic, but it's a fucking rock
Well,
concert.
see, that's why we do these, so
It's a
people,
zoo.
you know, can get to know you guys in the comfort of their own home, and then come have a good time at MITA, interact with you, and then get to know you afterwards as well. You see what I'm saying? Because that trying to keep people captive for like 15 minutes to talk about products and stuff is difficult.
I think you should take heed in the fact that probably more dispensary sales have closed at the bar at MITA
That's true.
than like are being properly logged. Like
I
in the
know.
public release when they hit, you should get like a naming.
We should have a gong.
And like, thank you to Demitri for providing neutral ground for us to get through the absurdities both of our attorneys are saying.
Appreciate that.
To get this deal closed so that Grow Sciences can have a dispensary.
And people can chat, whatever it is that they're looking for. Cultivation deals, manufacturing deals, brands, flour,
that's what
dispensaries, licenses.
It's good too because all the hardworking people that aren't even owners can go and hang out and network as well. And there's a really solid crowd of people in the space. I mean, all the bud tenders, back office people. There's some radical folks here, and they all get to hang out at MITA. And it doesn't feel like there's a difference in, who's a manager versus a bud tender versus an owner. Like, you're just in it.
And we appreciate all the love. Trying to unshackle here why the cult following. I mean, when people talk about you guys in this state, it's just like, you guys are
who you're talking to.
top 5, always across the board. Never name not included in the top 5. If they don't like you, you're number 5.
I think it's good to be. I think it's good to be first to something.
Yeah.
And, what Mike and I took, and I'll say this, and then you should, whatever it was for you, but we took, like, massive chances. I always reference back to the original meetings we had at the building with buyers before we even had, like, plants in there, and just being legitimately, we had people, like, get up and leave laughing.
That's the building over by the airport?
Yeah, that's our current building that's turning into a rosin facility only.
And that building started in what year?
So we
got the keys in 17.
Yeah, April of 17, and we built it out, the first 10,000 square feet immediately after.
I don't know why I'm so concerned with dates. I just always like to put a frame of reference, but go ahead.
Sure.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, it was,
because I'm looking at 2008 when you finished up in California to 2017.
well, there's a whole other thing. I mean, I went to Denver after this and did some facilities there. Then I came back to Arizona when it became legal. So
2010, 11.
Yeah, right there was basically, I knew I was going to set up shop here. This was my home. Mm-hmm. And when I looked at how the laws were written, I'll just be very truthful with you, I saw the manipulation easily. But I didn't give a shit because those laws are absurd anyway. So if I'm prepared to risk my life,
right,
which is what you're doing in essence in some ways, like with the law here, then I'm, and this is absurd. What I'm saying is completely absurd. I get that.
Yeah, drug war 2.0, prohibition 2.0.
I think it's the stupidest shit ever. But I saw that I could meander. You have a caregiver, you get 12 plants, you have 5 patients, you have 60 plants. I knew how to grow. I do very, very, very few things in life well, but growing is one of them. And I knew at one plant what I could produce with that.
1997 to 2000.
That's 25 years later. And I have pretty much screwed up anything else I've ever been in. So it's got to be good at this or we're really in trouble. Mike's good at everything. So it's like a different scenario. Like he's going to go on to do just the craziest shit in the world.
Well, he's the business side, but he was also...
No, it's a lot more.
Besides risk-taking, what else did it take for you guys to get to the top?
I'll tell you what.
In there.
Yeah. There's a lack of creativity, I think, in cannabis too. I think people are sort of tethered to this idea. It's like the stigma still exists, and you've got a lot of non-cannabis people that come into the space because, by definition, who's got experience in cannabis? It's so young in the grand scheme of things. Mm-hmm. In fact, I was reading an announcement today where, I won't name the company or the person, but it's like some big executive that just came from some huge retailer just gets named as, a new leader at one of these, multi-state operators. But I'm like, they're a dime a dozen. Like, where's the press release that announces that, hey, we just pulled this grower out of Northern California who's never been heard of, but it's been doing it for decades, right? And just kills it, just grows fire all day, knows exactly what's going on. This person's going to change our company. The whole figurehead thing, I think, leads to like a diluted existence where these companies just, they don't really have a ton of character. They're all very similar. And I don't have the most bright personality like Matt does, but combined, I think we had like a ton of creativity, ideas, and we were just willing to talk to everybody. And that's another thing, right? Is like the openness and the accessibility is such a key differentiator. It's like, man, how do you guys get a cult following? I was like, well, we respond to them when they email us. We respond to them when they DM us. We respond to texts. We text them. They text us. We talk about their families. We don't even talk about weed all the time. And it's like, oh, wow, that's not. Yeah, everybody's looks perplexed. Like we figured something, out that was really difficult.
Well, you guys are like a mullet. Like all business in front, party in back, a perfect balance of both.
Are you trying to find a plug for the new stash?
I'm
waiting for it.
It's like a balance of like an OG with soul from 1997.
Yeah.
Who has this long history, combined with good business. Are you the business?
It's beyond that.
It's both. Yeah.
It's so weird. So I think people see me a lot more. I'm actually glad I get, because I never actually get to talk about this. So anything that comes out of marketing, anything that we do, acquisition, anything spirited at Grow Sciences, it's always Mike and I. Mm-hmm. We were talking this morning about an air conditioning unit in the cultivation at 43rd Ave, the new spot. We're in everything. So whether I'm talking to someone I know at a dispensary and working with him in sales, whether he is in the cultivation talking to the team, I think that's what put Grow Sciences on the map. It was our team, and it was how we were able to communicate to people to this day, and it's tougher now, but we still do it. We are in this to be really great for Arizona. We're not going to other states. We're hyper-focused here. We make an enormity amount of mistakes. That's how I've been my whole life, so don't expect changes there. But we are in this with them. When we make decisions, Mike and I go into a room and we go, what is this new product going to look like? And the first thing we address is, can we please get to every tier? Can we get to not just be a premium, but have a premium product and get everybody in the market able to enjoy it? And I think for 98% of Arizona, for whatever reason, maybe it's that harken back to the original counterculture of cannabis, they know we're in this with them.
Right.
They are mad when we screw up, and they voice that. And I love when they do. But they get it. And then, unfortunately, as we got really big, there's the 2% of people that just want to see this motherfucker burn to the ground. And they say, if you don't have haters, it's what it is. But
are people just upset because you're big?
I think
imperfections become the kind of thing that people want to exploit. So, this jar, let's take something simple. You have a dry gram of rosin, and it's like you talk shit about their mother.
Yeah.
Dude,
I let my haters see my
The quality's
motivators.
been shit for a long time. You have 10 other people say, man, this is the,
Yeah, but you have 19,000 positive reviews over 5 years, and you have 10 people.
But I listen to the other one.
Yeah, we like
Positive.
it all.
Well, you have to. You need someone to hold you accountable sometimes. And
Here's the
keeps
good
you
news.
guys
That's
Absolutely
exactly
forward
right.
to-
That's true.
But this is what I always tell people. Regardless whether you're going to be in this with us or not, regardless whether you give up on us, regardless if you're that one DM a month where you're like, fuck you guys,
Yeah.
we're still going to be here for you. I promise.
Yeah.
This mission is never going to change. We haven't changed. We've been hardened. I would say that's the definition. We've seen some crazy, crazy shit. And we've sat in the rooms with all the people that were, supposedly the captains of industry. And I know I'm not the smartest person in the room. I'm comfortable with that. Mike's usually up there with them. But we walk out of these things, I'm like, man, you don't know shit. You want to know the beautiful part about our industry, though? Some of these bud tenders, right below frontline doctors and nurses, the hardest job is being a bud tender, because everyone's really grumpy. The market's inconsistent, us included. Prices make people grumpy when there's inconsistency, all this. The dispensary experience, is it unique, or is there a lot of education? Do people even want education? I don't know. But I think there's a lot left to be discovered, and gone into. But these bud tenders are, I meet them,
They're the
when I tour. They are the most special. They're going to save this whole planet or die trying.
No, I agree with you. And one, as you probably watched the transition in me over the years in this industry, and I've become a lot closer to the people than the money. And I think that's a very important lesson that can be learned from this industry. And along those lines, if I can bring up, what is this university stuff?
This is so
Because
cool.
is it tied to the bud tender education? I really don't know.
That's exactly what it is.
That's what it is.
Because
do you know what it
hold
means?
that up to the camera?
Is that the poster
Do you
right
know
here?
how to
Yeah,
train
hold it up.
bud tenders today?
Is this something?
This
Talk
is
about
our
this.
so this is
He's
our
gonna
this
talk
is our
about
actual
it.
certificate. So when a bud tender completes the class, which is online, we'll give them a gift bag with a lot of different things.
So you have a
And this
a
is
bud
one of
tender
the things we designed for them. So, long story short,
Yeah.
if you're not aware, to go train bud tenders means you have to get in a car. You've got to drive around to every store. You get crammed into like a break room that's, I don't know, maybe the size of this room. Oftentimes, sometimes you're in like an unfinished warehouse, and you're just talking to whatever 5 to 15 people can take a break from their shift at that time, right? No one's coming in on their day off for this. And then you might do it back to back, like you'll be in a shift change. And all you do is you sit and you talk. And Matt and I did it for a really long time, and now we have a really cool team that goes out and does it on our behalf most often. But the point is that at the end of that 15 minutes or 30 minutes, what does anybody retain, right? Even if we hand them, materials and stuff, it's really hard, and you don't touch everybody because there's another 50 people that are going to work later that day or tomorrow who weren't even on shift that day. So there's no way to get real reach to educate people on what you do. So just like, education period, we just took it online. And so we're in the process of launching our own Grow Sciences University. It's 100% online. They can do it on their own time, which the stores and the companies like, because right now they're getting trained on the company's dime, which doesn't sound crazy, and it's not that crazy, but it's like, hey, I've got people on staff. I can't put them in 100 different brand education, training sessions this month because every brand's trying to get out there. So we'll launch this. They'll complete, I think currently it's like 10 to 12 chapters or sections. It goes through who we are, who's our family that we work with, a bunch of just savage killers. These guys are awesome. That's who you need to come see next, by the way. And it's totally free. Yeah,
It's
in
actually
fact,
beyond free.
yeah, we'll enroll them. Any bud tender in the state can do it, and they'll complete the course. We'll quiz them throughout. The course design is totally modern. It looks awesome. It's kind of it's like a digital version of our product booklet, if you haven't seen that. But, and then at the end, we'll survey, we'll get a couple things to know about them, what they like, and then we've got a gift bag. And in the gift bag, we got a custom-made bag for all the graduates. We have this certificate that'll be signed with their name. Matt and I'll sign it, and we'll get them free product. There'll be a bunch of other
And not like a
cool
grant.
things.
Like,
Yeah, like it's legit.
It's going to be, when word gets out.
They're making a
people-
few $100 basically
Yeah.
in free stuff to complete this course.
It's valuable
And-
to us that
Yeah.
we talk directly to them.
The goal is that when someone comes in and either asks about Grow Sciences or an employee at the dispensary is speaking about Grow Sciences, they actually can speak fluently to who we are and what we do. We can educate them on, and this has been just a key ingredient for our company since day one, like actually teach them how rosin is made. What's rosin? What's solventless? What are those words? Is it, people say rosin. It's just all these things, this jargon that exists in our
Right.
industry. It's not unique to cannabis, but in our industry, we have our own jargon. And it's confusing not only to consumers, but to a lot of employees too, because most people don't know how the weed is made.
Yeah, that's a big question.
What do you guys think about their university?
I think that's great. People in the dispensaries, the bud tenders are the front line, so people need to know what they're smoking. Like my
Yeah.
Rita, what are your
dad
thoughts?
that's
on
going to the dispensary needs to know what that rosin is.
Yep.
So, and Grow Sciences, I'm a consumer myself. Grow Sciences is one of the big brands at the dispensaries. So if the bud tender you're purchasing it from doesn't know about Grow Sciences, you're going to be.
Yeah. How do you sell it?
We say top
Exactly.
5.
Yeah, I find it very important because as someone who isn't really a consumer, so to say, whenever you go to in a dispensary and for the first time, you're talking to bud tenders. You're getting advice from them. So if you know nothing, it's foreign to you, this is going to really help people that are new consumers that want to get sleep, and now they're going to get sleep because the bud tenders are well informed on what products are
They're
right
the
for them.
trusted source.
Yeah.
Anyone can walk in from our moms to my younger brother, and they're going to ask, what are you smoking?
These kids have it, though. Bartenders in Arizona, it's like the worst job. It really is. Like, they get talked shit on.
Surprised how
People
little they
are
get paid.
bad.
Well, it's got to be
They
up
don't
to
That's
them.
a problem.
Great, but
That's
like,
a big
Yeah,
problem to me.
for
I
sure.
talk to these guys. I talk to a lot from just a lot of
Yeah.
different dispensaries, and I promise you, these people are super cool.
Whatever we can
Super
do to help
intelligent.
promote this, we got to do an email blast about this. You know, there's
we have
definitely.
I
a
think
big
too,
reach
it's up
for
to the bud
bud
tenders too. You know, at the end of the day, they gotta want to learn to educate themselves and talk to their team that they're working with and be like, hey guys, we all gotta be educated on these products here. And of course, the dispensary behind it, whoever's behind them, training them, that has to be.
Sorry, we
Facilitated.
Toast to
Yeah.
the bud tenders.
just if you
Bring
guys
them
want
in,
some more,
yeah,
there's-
for sure.
Yeah, no, there's
I took a whole shot.
Serious,
so,
yes.
sip, so.
Ari's
Hold on,
over there
you
saying,
can't, I
Let's hit-
can't toast empty.
Let's
You wanna
hit the
serve
toast to
everybody,
the
Ari?
grow sciences.
Ari's in the house. Yeah,
You
These
wanna-
guys-
here,
listen,
you can have this cup.
These guys are an extension of our
Take this.
team.
You're
No,
gonna
they
come
are.
out.
They are. They're extension
Yeah,
of our
already
company
took
and
a
our
huge
brand. They're
shot.
extension of every company.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you're
As
you're
it's meant
supposed
to
to
be.
sip
No, I was just
1942.
thinking, Matt, we were just at Thunderbird
Me and Matt are
University,
smoking.
and at Thunderbird they have this like,
No.
what is that
This is your
thing? Like
bottle.
this 3D imager? That, I don't even
3D
know what it's
printer
called.
stuff?
No, but you stand in
get
the
you a
middle of
bottle.
it, and there's like 50 like high-tech cameras. It's like a $10 million machine, and it takes this image of you, and you can teach. It takes, what is that thing machine called? The Thunderbird.
I'm technological.
I don't know what it's called, but essentially, like, I don't know if you guys have ever seen any, like, superhero movies, like Marvel or anything like that, but it's that technology they use to make you an avatar and
Yes.
have you move in a certain motion.
We can make you guys. They can make you guys avatars. It's
Yeah.
like a $10 million
There's a
machine.
Photoshop filter.
And they're using,
how to use that.
they're basically trying to make it so that, like, education is not just viewing stuff in a PowerPoint. It's more like you're in there.
Oh yeah.
Because this is like we're talking like the College of like Management. So like people that are, let's say like I want to do management in China, so they have like a simulation where you're talking to someone from China, so you're getting a feel for the way their mannerisms are, the way they move their
Yeah.
eyes.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? So it
Absolutely.
feels like you're there. And that's like a different way of learning for people with like certain learning disabilities. That's going to definitely like help them.
The whole augmented virtual reality changes everything, all industry. And if you haven't seen it yet, like what you're describing,
One day
it's
there's going to be
huge.
Matt teaching cannabis on augmented virtual
Listen,
reality.
in-
If it doesn't shave 80 pounds off my avatar, I'm out on Meta.
We
No,
got
it's
you.
gonna
I don't
be-
want any
We-
part of that
so,
shit.
not unrelated to grow science is
Ouch.
just a short thing in DC, right? Because I really harp on this whole that people don't know how the products are made, right? And that's just life. Like, how is anything made? People just, we take for granted this world we live in, this country we live in. It's just everything's just at our service,
He's
right?
getting philosophical on us. I
Well,
like where this is going.
The point is,
I'm
right,
pulling us
is
out of
that
this.
people don't know people don't know the difference between good weed and bad weed, right? Good extracts and bad extracts. And it's like, the stuff that we've been smoking on for years and years, hopefully everybody had some pretty good stuff, but there's no question you were smoking stuff that was just disgusting, because that's just how agriculture is, and there was no rules. It was just
Unless you were
wild.
friends with Matt back
But-
in 1997.
State of-
Dude, I guarantee you that
Hey, right?
So we did a
I mean,
virtual reality thing in DC
I had
where we
plenty of
walked
bad
everybody
go through. My
through.
hands.
Yeah, and we'll do it here. We need to do that. The
what?
the VR of the grow.
I'm
No.
out on technology. That's
Oh,
not
no,
my-
VR is cool.
I'll
But
leave
what
it in
you're
the hands
saying,
of you
That
because
would be so cool.
we, one of the things we wish
We've
we could
talked
do
about
is like bring the whole state, every FA card, every DA, whoever, bring them through our facility and just show them, because it's like anything. If you've ever been on a brewery tour or wine tour, or you go to some manufacturing plant, you guys ever seen how cans are made? Probably not. It's like all this stuff is really interesting, and you walk out of that and you have a totally different perception of, okay.
I
this
think
is what
we're
cannabis
reaching
is.
on our email blasts, which are now at the 39,000. We're reaching about 25% of those are FA card holders. Well, excuse me, 25% of the total FA card holders, which is about 5,000. The rest are just people throughout the ecosphere of
Yeah.
cannabis.
I was going to say, I watch how it's made, so I've seen how cans are made.
There you go.
No shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't. so
I've been to a
actually just
facility,
hear
it's
where that
crazy.
was
They
going.
should do like how it's made on like cannabis though. Like that would
Well,
be
the Canna Cribs
interesting.
group, I think, does.
kinda what they're doing,
They've
I
probably
guess,
done
yeah.
the best job that I've seen of getting behind the scenes.
Right?
That's true.
They do.
And
Alternate.
and that's not to say
Nate's
other
the
people
man.
aren't doing it, but
Nate's cool.
those
Nate's cool as
guys,
shit.
they're very driven to do they're like-minded people. We love them.
Have they done a Canna Cribs on your old facility? Yes, but
Yeah.
not your new facility.
Yes, on the old one.
But
I don't think we're probably going to do any more of that stuff unless it's really just about the team. I think that's kind of where
I was
we're
going
going
to say
with that.
that's our next Canterbury Tales. We'll do a podcast here and then be like, all right, we're going over to so and so at Grow Sciences live in the
Yeah.
Grow.
I've been asking people to do that for a few years, and it just seemingly has never happened
Let's do
for
it.
like a multitude of reasons. But I think they wanted to do a follow-up on Canna Cribs or something along those lines. But I think our team has such amazing content in it. The people that work at Grow Sciences are fucking nuts.
Yeah, we want to
They
get
are
behind
truly
the
a bunch of
stories Grow
loons.
Sciences.
And I'll know them all. The people that have been with me 3 years, and even some of the people who've been 3 days, like, I'll know them forever.
yeah, and that
Totally.
I mean, your old facility with all the paintings on the walls and stuff is pretty cool.
Those
And
come from patients. The stuff down the cultivation hallways when you're there.
yeah, that's cool.
Those decals that end up in the boxes, patients will send us drawings and the ones that we love, and then the team will say, this one was amazing. And, like, that's the famous story in
That's so cool.
the 40th Street cultivation now is we put someone sent us a sticker, we loved it, then we put it on the wall as a huge decal. And we had someone, the day they got hired, we were doing the tour and walking them through. And she's like, that's my decal.
Oh,
It was Olivia.
Special.
That's
Olivia's
very cool.
in cultivation. Now she's unbelievable, and now she's moved over to 43rd Avenue. But yeah, so that was our like connection. We all stood there, we're like, you're kidding.
And
He's like, that's my shit.
and that's the soul that you hopefully will never lose. And that's I mean, that is your competitive advantage. That is what people see. And I mean, there are certain corporate dispensaries that have no soul, and you can see their, how they are
But is
operating.
It's almost not their fault because they're
That's a nice way to put it.
multi-state, right? This is kind of what I was saying earlier. Is that it's like what is the headquarters in a Chicago or a New York or pick whatever city they're in has complete detachment from on the ground in a dispensary in any state. That's just a fact of life. I don't even know how you avoid it. It's why we haven't done it. We haven't gone to other places because we haven't figured out. Well, that's one of many reasons.
But you know what?
How do you bring to the other state what we have here? How did the people all know each other?
Yeah, it doesn't.
If I'm around, in my reality, you guys get bigger in Arizona and you export to the rest of the country.
That'd be great.
We need to get there. You know what I'm saying? Because that benefits Arizona.
But here's the problem.
Benefits the people here.
This industry, right, has spent the last decades, right? It's really only been in flux really in the last 10 years, give or take. But it was such a high bar to get in, right? So you've had to, from the zoning to find your property, to just win a license, right? Even if you're in a lottery, you're still spending a fair amount of money to win a lottery.
Right.
In D.C., when I got into it, I was under contract on a lease for like 15 months, 14 months, paying a lease with, my other job's income, not knowing whether I was going to get a license. And then I won the license. I was like, wow, that was worth it. Because I had to have that in my application. It was mandatory that you had to show that you had a lease on a property.
Right.
That's crazy. The point being, extrapolate that into many more levels, that these companies have spent millions, if not billions, of dollars to get where they are in this regulatory environment that is so tight you can't move. I mean, we're tracking
Absolutely.
seed to sale as if that's important.
Drug
right?
War 2.0,
As if we're
Prohibition
holding like
2.0.
some, really, contaminant chemical or something, like whatever it is, something dangerous.
Nuclear secrets.
Right. And what happened is that over the last decade, all this money has been pumped in, and now everybody who's in
Is protecting themselves.
wants to protect it. And they
I
have
gotcha.
to insulate, because that regulatory environment that everyone hates it.
Yes.
Taxes, banking, no access to credit, tracking, everything. That's now the moat.
This is why every consumer
That's
and
the
patient
moat.
should buy from you guys to support your organization, because you understand this is wrong.
Yeah, and you can go into the associations today and say, listen, let's create more licenses, let's give more opportunities. And just people are gonna be like,
Would
huh?
you say, though,
Like, why
on
would we
some
do that? Why
levels-
would we create more competition?
But it's also a city issue, which was fought by the
Totally.
dispensaries. But you know, you can't open these things anywhere. Like, if you have a spot, you can open a dispensary.
That's the industry protecting itself against social equity
Yeah, you know what?
licenses.
And that's exactly what's embarrassing, as you hear these lobbyists and lawyers and industry members go to politicians and try to explain, you know, in the back rooms why there shouldn't be more dispensaries. It's not coming from prohibitionists as much as it's coming from within the industry. And these people, I mean, honestly, they need to be exposed, but it's really hard because it happens in like little meetings with campaign contributions.
I have to tell you, I don't think they would even look at this as exposed. I have to tell you, I think for many people, the argument of what Mike said, you know, I know independent operators here, I will not name them, who feel this way.
Yeah, but
they have spent so many millions of dollars that they agree with the sentiment you're stating. We certainly agree with
Yeah,
that.
I'll name one. Grow Sciences. We are a benefactor of the same things that I'm talking about.
Agreed.
So if I take
But you're honest
my
about it.
business hat off, and I put my civilian
Yeah.
hat on, or I want to be in that industry,
Look.
I look at this and I say, how the hell do I get in? This is impossible. And
thank you
so
very much.
But the fact of the matter is the industry needs to be built around the patients and consumers. And patients and consumers need to know where to take their money. And because you guys have the right ethos, it's important for them to take their money to you when they're at the dispensaries and et cetera. I mean, that's just a fact. You know, if you take your money to the corporate cannabis that's going to be tried excluding everyone, you're always going to have less product, less competition, higher prices.
So let me just ask this question. So, like, there are definitely some other growers in Arizona in the system I'm in that I think are totally legit. They white label product to these dispensaries. I don't want to see them go out of business. Like, I actually think there's plenty of room. So everyone's talked about all this canopy coming online and all the prices are plummeted. A lot of canopies come online. A lot of it's shit. It's like this bizarre level of shit. And
It's hard.
because the shit's hard. Like, you know, I grew in houses. I get it. Yeah, I'm the one. Check any thread I've ever put on any message board ever. And I have said, if you are growing at home and your passion is into it, you're going to produce a better product than anyone can. Just like my buddy, Josh, produces this amazing orange beer. And it's unbelievable. And he does it in his garage. And you can do it very small scale because there's only limited supply and time. So craft always wins. Our goal has always been, let's get to craft and take it to that next level. That's what I always strive for. But those growers exist in here. I want them to be in this. Like, the more people like us that become successful in this, I think that's the win. That's the only time I'm ever thrown for a loop where it's like I see someone post a review and they're like, yada, yada, great, you know, fuck, Grow Sciences, my jar was dry, you know, down with them. And I'm like, my dude, I don't know if you think everyone else is on your side. Regardless what you say to me, I'm always going to be on your side. Mike's always going to be on your side. But make sure you're rooting for the right people, because there are people here, though, and besides GS, I mean, dude, there are brands that are out there doing great things and that want to do huge things. I could name them right now. I mean, they're awesome.
And you're a craft grower. You must be also in charge of quality control at Grow Sciences, and you're not going to let anything come out the door that you're not proud of.
Yeah,
it doesn't
that's
matter.
hard. Listen to me. Let me just state this unequivocally. I have failed at that.
Okay, that's honest. We appreciate your frankness, but the fact of the matter is, I mean, you're going to get bigger and bigger.
I think I'm much better at it now. But that exists. That's 1,000% my fault.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you, we have a lot of responsibilities. And I have 67 people that work with me. And I want to make sure they have the best lives. So, you know, there are times when, you know, I'm in a pound and I'm like, man, this is just really on, you know, the fence. And would I want to cure it for a little bit longer? And I can tell you right now, we make that decision right a lot of times. I've made that decision wrong plenty of times. And I hope I do it a lot less in the future. And yeah, I'm in on quality control, but I can tell you right now, I'll hear from Mike, you know, he'll walk into my office sometimes and with a jar, and he's like, are you being fucking serious? Like, we don't put 6 nugs in a jar. And I'm like, you're right, we don't put 6 nugs in a jar. I hadn't even seen it yet, but he's right. I mean, it sounds that bad when you say it, but it's okay.
I think
And he keeps it very honest.
we all say the same.
We
say
all
the
do.
same thing.
We all do because we're in this. Our packagers, we usually say it. Oh my gosh, if the flower that we send to trimming like isn't in the right place, there's nothing worse than a pissed off trimmer. And they're like, Matt, I
Talk
can't
about
t-
the other hardest
Oh my
job
gosh,
in the world.
oh the hard. Matt, are you being serious with this? Like really? Like really? Like, thanks, man. Thanks.
You can watch trimmers go from trimming, 1 to 2 pounds a day to trimming a quarter pound.
Yeah.
And you can see the attitude adjust by the minute.
the
And then they
demoralization.
start throwing
Demoralize your trimmers.
And worse
missiles
for
back
me
at our
is I
office.
know where it's going like this. So that's day one. On day, like, whatever, after it's cured, it's going to hit packaging. So I know. So then they get it. And then I've got Haley and Ashley in my ear. Like, Haley will just threaten to stab me with, like, a mail opener in the throat. No, I mean, she's no joke. Like, these.
Yeah.
So they're in it.
Letter opener. I'm
Their
trying to think of what
names
the
are
mail opener
behind
is.
it. Like, when shit goes down on them, they get offended by it. Like, they're in it with us. They're in it with us. There's no question. Their blood, sweat, and tears. I have the best team on the planet. That's the one thing I conclusively know. Like,
Right.
there is no question that I have the best team on the planet, and I would hope that after my people leave GS, they just become leaders in this enormous stuff because they have all the talent, drive, passion, and
Well, isn't that a big thing behind Grow Sciences? Is everybody that kind of works with you is family.
After
Family-oriented.
going through warfare, as I say.
Yeah. Well, but that's the right attitude, Matt. What you're
you
saying
gotta
is
go through hell
yeah.
together to become family. You don't just start working somewhere and you're their family. So there's that distinction, but no question. I mean, what do we do?
we're definitely
I'm not
in
out-
everyone's
I'm
life.
not trimming. I'm not
No.
packaging.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
everybody's.
I love
bringing
that
it for
shit
us.
though. I'll
No,
be honest. Like that's kind of why I did this.
Yeah,
So,
it's about people. It's about helping
I
them
always
grow.
tell
It's
people
about
like I'm 43. I'm married. My
Yeah.
wife does very well for herself. Like we have no kids, no dogs, no debts. We could have sold this thing a while ago. We're
Yeah.
in this because we love this, and we're in this because we really wanted to do something crazy here. I don't think I ever see us moving on before we have a retail dispensary, Phoenix, Tucson, Flagstaff, really, Mike, providing that retail experience that I don't think anyone's doing today.
Well,
That's
I'm
a
hoping
tough-
you guys are going to
tough
be.
ass though, FYI.
I'm hoping that the retail outlets across the country are importing every state from you guys 5-10 years from now. As soon as we hit federal legalization, it would be nice to see like your product in such
Can't we
demand.
just go direct to consumer at that point
I
and really
want-
control the experience? Because if I could package and immediately so have the packaging apparatus finish at 4 o'clock. Our building's right next to the airport anyway, so there's like a 5:45 FedEx, the last FedEx. Do that priority. It's in someone's hands 10 a.m. the next morning. They can move it to their jar. All of a sudden, you are providing a craft experience.
You're 100% correct, and there's so much.
Not that we've thought about a subscription.
The manipulation-
service or anything
I
like
think
that.
the
No.
barrier to my only bet to drop the barriers that prevent us from doing what he just described is you have to see federal rules change
Right.
in order for maybe the existing businesses and companies to sign up for that. Because right now, you wouldn't
Yeah.
want anybody to interstate trade. Copper State, right? Great example. We love those guys.
Yeah.
Huge farm. Those guys could supply a massive chunk of the Southwest.
Well, that's who's going to make it.
Period.
Yeah.
And so if you're not Copper State and you've got a farm and you're growing, in greenhouse, but you can't grow it for $100 a pound, $200 a pound, or whatever the number is, Copper State is going to ship it into your market and you're done. And so what has to happen, I think you got to pull two levers. One is that you've got to get the IRS tax regime out of the way. And we won't have to go down that rabbit hole, but for everybody listening, just know that we're basically double, triple taxed in cannabis because we can't deduct things. You've got to get banking available, just good old-fashioned credit, right? Loans, things like that. You make that available, you move those barriers out of the way, then all of a sudden maybe there'd be an interest to say, all right, let's let more people in. Let's allow for direct-to-consumer. Let's allow for interstate trade because they'd say that's the give and the take of it, right? But whatever, there's a reason that it hasn't changed federally, although whatever, Biden's announcement last week.
Yeah, I'm just a little concerned about the manipulation that goes on behind the scenes. The patients and the consumers
Only a
want
little bit of manipulation.
direct
Just a
direct
little.
to consumer, just like you're saying. and
It slides. It's a
You're
slide.
trying to open it, but it slides.
yeah. See, I've spent the last 30
It's
minutes
child
trying to open
resistant.
this
I
thing.
just saw it. I just saw it go down.
I did
No,
not notice that
So
was
it's a
going on
coffin.
there.
It's a coffin. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like,
Sorry.
there you
I
go.
should have jumped in on this with you previously.
No. We haven't got to your
It's a
products
Me Too
yet.
crew.
We were getting to this. This is next. But you already answered one of the questions. I wanted to move into where you guys are at now, and you guys, how many employees you have, the status. You guys are in the new facility, and it's open.
We're flowering right now. We now have more than doubled our canopy flowering already, and in the next about 5 to 7 days, Grow Sciences will have quadrupled what we have online. But there's a lot that's going into that, and where it's going, and I'd like to think that when we dropped prepackaged flour in 2018, it kind of halted that race to the bottom and kind of redefined things and allowed a lot of other brands to come in, which I think is awesome, and we definitely wanted that. We always said in the beginning, like, this is going to get better and better as more people jump into it. But now, as the market has settled, 6 years from when we founded this, and now it's different. I have to deal with the reality. So, like, whether or not that you or we or whoever likes who owns the dispensaries and, or how they're run or anything, this is who's here. They're certainly not leaving. So now I need to make sure, well, what's best for my patients and customers in Arizona? How do I navigate that system to where it's what's best for them? And I call that GS 2.0. That's how we kind of reference it in ours, which is why we acquired the new spot. Just came online. We're about 3 weeks into flowering on the first room. And this is going to allow us to hopefully reinvent everything on a quality level, addressing everything. We good to talk about the cartridges and stuff like that?
Run it.
You want to
Unshackled.
talk about your?
Unshackled.
So,
But they haven't released them to the public yet, So
Yeah, so we're not. This isn't going to be happening till mid-December, and that's if everything goes to plan. Which in cannabis, it quite simply never happens.
right.
No one wants to tell you that, but it's a 100% truth that if you plan on December 1, act as if it's February 15th of the following year. So, and that's okay. That's what we all go through. So, not a big deal, but we're shooting for a mid-December launch. And I've kind of looked at the cartridge market, and I've said, all right, we can do better. So we've been pheno hunting at Grow Sciences for every day that we've been in business. And we have found a lot of different cultivars and all these different things, and now we know how to utilize them. So we're going to be dropping a live resin cartridge. It's going to be priced at or better than the distillate cartridges.
Nice.
So we're coming in to basically say there's just no need for distillate anymore. Let's just switch to live resin, get a true broad spectrum. We're not making it any different. This isn't a less premium product. I have the best, what I consider to be the best lab director coming into Grow Sciences to run this project. And we've built out a state-of-the-art facility at our new building. It is going to be our flower, which is grown for this, tailored to this, premium, but it's going to be at this absurdly affordable price. We're going to do that in cartridges. We're going to do a Diamonds and Sauce live resin, a premium product, at that same pricing. So we're going to come in and disrupt on the quality level.
I want to hear Destiny's thoughts on this.
No, I'm loving it. I mean, distillates are, there's two different kind of consumers in the market, not two, but I mean, there's multiple different kind of. There's people that are educated on the product that they're smoking, like there's the brands that that push out those pre-rolls that are trim. There's the brands that push out the pre-rolls that are nugs and stuff. So it's awesome. I was just reading that here that says,
oh man,
rosin roll, cannabis plus rosin.
So so there's a girl that works with me at GS. It really works with Mike and I, Mike personally, but named Story, who helps with our design. And
Leads.
Yeah. So first off, I mean, just look at the other package too, Demitri. Like, not the mug, the rosin roll 5-pack. Like
Over here.
it's right behind your. There you go.
Oh, here you go.
I mean, This is the coolest shit on the planet. If it wasn't, I wouldn't say it, but...
I won't even bother trying to open it. I'm useless.
Oh, the 5-pack.
Yeah, so this is a 5-pack of minis.
Look at that.
So totally infused. So how we're doing this is the following.
Childproof, but
This is our nugs.
Look at
The same exact flower that we that's up on my wall in my dungeon.
wanna-
around.
yeah,
I want
what's
to know
the
what's the
reason?
reason behind the sloth.
Oh,
That's what I
you're
really wanna
wondering
know.
why on the private plane they allowed to paint
But just why the
cannabis
sloth
leaves
in
on the
general?
wall.
Like who thought of the concept of a sloth
Yeah.
and why?
So we have-
Anything
we have-
creative is Mike.
We have Story, and then we have another girl,
Story.
this girl Lindsay, who has been a friend of ours for a long time. She's a really good just illustrator, artist. Pretty much any idea that comes to mind from anyone, we'll call her up and have her draw it. So
Yeah.
the sloth, we posted the sloth. We did a voting online. It was voted that the sloth's name would be Chillmore. The flight attendant is Gamora, and they're like an unofficial mascot for now.
I let you describe it.
Yeah.
I love it. But I love this.
Art,
I love when we get
he
creative.
always does look like he's just chilling too.
So this is what I mean when I said creativity.
Oh, this is smart. I like this how this
lacking.
is in here.
Yeah, so the Duke Tube is basically if you only burn half of one,
Very
you
smart.
don't ruin the whole 5-pack.
Yeah.
With a half burnt joint, which I've done numerous times.
Right.
You can, or if you just want to take
Take
one
with
go,
you,
I
yeah.
swallow
drink a
it.
5-pack,
So
right?
this avoids
So-
me swallowing the joint now at the end.
But
That's
that's
the plan.
when I say there's
That's
a
enough.
lack of creativity.
That's the end of it.
Not to be one of a million people that shout out to the late Steve Jobs, but if you read his biography, right, like one of the things I learned from that single book was just the attention to detail that goes inside and out, and there's a lot of people don't practice that, and we sit, and Matt I consider to be, he's in charge of all product. He's the chief cannabis officer in my opinion,
Chief
and that I think is the coolest title on the planet.
No,
he
it
hasn't
is.
adopted it yet. But he
cannabis
runs all
officer.
product, right? And we have a team that can deliver on
that.
what we want to do. And then that allows my side of the organization to come in and design really fantastic and creative, fun packaging. We want everybody when they open it to just be delighted. Is really it. Not just with the product itself, but everything that it's wrapped in.
I can open this one.
Yeah, there you go.
I was gonna ask you if you can walk me through the phenotype testing. Like, how do you guys go through that?
So
Like,
it's
what's the
super
process?
scientific. Actually, it's not. It's definitely scientific. So here's what happens. People at the facility, and mostly myself, will scour. We're kind of like seed assholes. We're always looking for new seeds, always out there trying to check stuff out, and we'll just acquire them and bring them in. And we have to do everything above board, which requires all this different stuff, right? But once we have about 1,000 seeds, that means we're going to take a room offline at the facility and we're going to run them in there, because what happens is you crack 1,000, 950, 960 will crack if things go right. Of that 950, only half will be female. That's just the reality, right? So we pre-sex all those. So we have a quality engineer named Michaela who will go through and literally take a sample from every single phenotype. We send it to the lab. They tell us if it's male or female. If it's male, we throw it away. Well, that's changing actually, because we're going to be doing our own breeding here shortly. So we'll start keeping
Okay.
the males, but I'll get into that later.
Unshackled.
What'd you say?
Unshackled.
Yeah. So then we'll have the seeds. They'll go into the room, and then we'll spend the first 21 days tracking stretch, because that's when the stretch comes to an end. So we'll mark it as a short plant, a tall plant, a medium plant. If we miss anything in those first 3 days when we flip and it's a male, we'll get it out. And then we'll just go through the process, and basically everyone in the building has an opinion, and they go in and they go winner, not winner. We've run entire rooms and gotten nothing. We've run rooms and gotten 5. It's crazy. You never know and it's like demoralizing.
And
when
what
you
makes
get
a
to
winner? Like, truly.
taste, smell, everything. It just has to be this total gambit. And some stuff, when we knew we were going to make the live resin cartridge, because our rosin cartridge, I think it's what I smoke on a 90% basis, right? That's what I smoke. I love it. We spent a year developing it. It's going to get better from here, but I think it's a phenomenal product. That's what I smoke. But can everyone afford a $55 cartridge? Okay, so 2 things have to happen. One, we have to get better at it and lower the price. So that's step 1. We'll do that.
Make it easier.
We're on it. But but it'll never be $20, $25 in that sense, right? Where people are buying 5 for 100 cartridges and whatnot. Yeah. I want my people to go in, no matter what the experience, and leave with fire, so that when they go to whatever state they're going to, you know, enough with California. I want them to leave Arizona, be like, man, I rolled out with these cartridges. I paid $100. I got 5. These are fucking insane.
These are pretty fire, yeah.
Because we make an insane cartridge, and that's what I want. I want the same with the dabbable. You know, not is everyone going to afford rosin? I mean, that's not the reality we live in. I wish it was. Let me know how we get there. I'll be your number one proponent. Let me know how we get everyone to afford that. Let me know what I can do, and I'll go through the gates of hell to get everyone on the same page.
Pay for a nice lobbyist.
Well, I would lose it all, you know. But
lobbyists usually get paid to protect markets, not enhance them. So,
but that's gonna change. You know, here's the deal: we're in the last bastions of all what our parents and, you know, the greatest generation, the baby boomer generation, like the kids today, they're gonna be so different than we are. This is all gonna fall apart. I can promise you. I mean, they care about each other. They know the system is entirely rigged against them. They just get reminded of that on a monthly basis. And when they start to get into power, which is coming soon, you know, they'll start to go into that. I think you're going to see some radical changes. I'm totally on board. I don't even understand half the shit going on. Yeah. And I tell all the people, you know, that are 21 to 26, just tell me what to do and I'm with you guys.
So I'm always confused about, you know, the way some individuals look at the cannabis industry, and they don't respect people and their opportunity and their options and their choice. You know, and even in Arizona, we have 20,000 cannabis industry FA card holders. And there's certain individuals that will actively manipulate to make sure that those people never have a chance to explore their own, you know, ideas.
Got to overcome, man.
And that's just wrong. I don't care. You know, it's just
that's
not
in every
right.
industry. I assure you, if you want to go open up a commercial orange grove anywhere near Florida, I wish you the best of luck.
I don't
There's
know what the
people that
licensing
own
is
that
for that.
air spacing out there. Like, it's in every industry. What you have to do is claw, scratch. You've got to overcome.
Right.
There's a way to accomplish anything. I founded this company with Mike going into criminal fucking charges. Like, you have to get up. You got to overcome. You got to ask your friends for help. And we have to stop this thing in cannabis. And maybe it's everything. But, like, hey, man, hook me up. You know, I'm your buddy. Like, nah, dude, you should want to pay me double.
Support your friend's business.
Not me personally, but, like, if someone's on, like, coming up in a new grow, dude, don't ask for free. Fucking go there and be like, dude, I hope you make it. Like, let me support you in this.
We buy a lot of it.
Like, we got to stop being so hard on each other. Like, this industry is just... how do I kick the shit out of the guy next to me? And everyone's just completely full of shit, us included. But I mean,
I love how real you are.
I mean, it is crazy out there. You talk about hop latent viroid to people. You know, I'm out there. I'm like, man, we got taken out in 2021. 2021, we just had our fucking teeth kicked in. I mean, almost start to finish, and we came out of it strong because of our team. But like, almost just start to finish had our teeth kicked in. And I go out there. I'm talking to all these people and. No, hop latent viroid, no. And I'm like, oh, man, I got taken out. Second, you're honest with it. Oh, dude, I'm still in it. Like, what did you do? Like, I'm fucking da-da-da-da-da. It's like, why don't we all just ease up on each other and just come out and say this stuff? But that's not the reality. I'm okay with that, and that's fine.
Cooperation would go a long way.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, holy shit. Like, I don't...
What does that cooperation mean, though? I mean,
it means we deal with the reality
win and help
that
win,
is.
right?
Here's the deal. If anyone should be pissed off about corporations owning the shit, I promise you it's me.
Right.
I promise you it's me.
Yeah.
At a certain point, we get a lot more done. Like, let's get bud tender pay escalated. Let's figure out how to get the brands that are about Arizona, Sonoran Roots, Hash Paddler, Canamo, Grow Sciences, Alien Labs. I know I'm missing some really big ones.
This
like,
happens
how do we
when
get
those
them
regulatory
to be
things
successful?
ease up.
Like,
because the cost of regulatory is so extreme for every business, from the federal level to the state level. We have to pay people to count plants in a room too often. And for what? right? Because if and you when you cut down a plant, you're supposed to pour alcohol into the pot.
That's
pot.
insane.
What are we talking about?
Bleach, right?
You could say that to anyone, layman or professional, and they'd be like, I don't understand. What am I pouring alcohol into a pot for? Because the rules said that. Because the stigma is alive and well today. It was certainly really hard, as we know, when these things first started. And the path to rec was medical. Okay, the sky didn't fall. Let's go legal. But what hasn't happened in that progress is actual progress in the easing of all the controls. And that, okay, wait, this isn't a cartel-driven business. Right. And among all the other things people are scared of, there's not gun robbery, there's not robbery at gunpoint in all these different facilities and retail spaces. The list goes on. However, as we draft rules for what the next, chapter of the industry looks like in an existing state that has it or a new state that's trying to bring it on, like we're still using rules from 10 years ago.
Right.
Yeah, it's like, wait a minute, haven't you seen that there's 30 other states that have no problems that you guys are concerned about? Maybe somebody'd say, oh, we don't have problems because all those rules are there.
No,
That's not why.
I agree. And the only thing
do it to make money.
Right. Well,
housing's the same
No, they
way,
do
man.
it. No, I think it's money, but it's also to get the vote,
I have a
right?
question.
It's the sort of middle of the aisle.
Money
Okay,
manipulation.
let's keep it strict so that the people who hate it vote for it.
And just what bothers me is when I see members of this industry, people who call themselves cannabis industry members, that are pushing for prohibitionist like heavy regulation.
Like what specifically? When do you say that?
Well, like limited licensing is a good example.
Oh, yeah,
or
that's
you know,
a tough one.
That's a big one.
Yeah, it's a tough one.
You know, when people like walk into, or for example, there was an MSO who recently said publicly at a forum, we need to slow down federal legalization so that we can figure out how to adjust our business model.
Ooh.
What?
Yeah, it's very disruptive.
What?
This is what I'm
Cancel.
saying.
Since when is that in the best
moat.
interest of the people?
It's the moat.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, this
Well,
whole
it's
thing
the
is so
interest of the
fun.
business.
It was broken before. It's like
Yeah.
tough to fix something that's double broken. But it's weird because, once again, I'm going to say this. If anyone should be pissed, I should be. But because my life has been taken by cannabis.
Yeah.
I wouldn't change a thing. But the amount of felonies and charges and raids and life-ending things like where you tell your spouse, hey, we're going to pick up and move, like we got to leave, type of stuff. So, but cannabis did save my life. So I owe it enough to acknowledge the realities. And I know owners today. I mean, I'll call out Sticky Saguaro, Scott over there, giving opportunities to people to build their own businesses under his license. So Maz, Hash Paddler, he's making a big name for himself in rosin.
Nice.
First off, he's just an amazing guy. He's like a brother, but he's under Scott over there at Sticky Saguaro, giving him an opportunity when he'll have. His team loves it there. All these different things. He's invested tons, dude. Tons. If tomorrow 5 stores opened up next to him and that experience came to an end for not only him, but his team that has been with him for years, is that what's in the best interest of everyone? Is homogenization it? The answer is I don't know because I don't know. But there is sides to this where you go, I mean, dude, I've signed guarantees on debt that exclude me from going to bankruptcy court. Like this shit'll you know what our terms are that we take from people. There's no one who wants to loan money to cannabis, and I won't dilute our equity because we need to control this company's future.
Yeah.
I'm not going to allow anyone to control it but Mike and I. So, you take on debt at crazy terms. You know how this is. You're in these deals. So, but what do? We wanted to expand, right?
We've had a couple good deals together.
Phenomenal. No, you're one of the good operators here, which is why I would sit here and have this with you.
Yeah.
But there has to be the acknowledgement of these realities that people have invested tons of money. How do we get them covered? I don't know how. I'm not smart enough to figure that out.
And maybe there is no answer, but all I know is
you're
that
pissed about the companies that suck.
No, all I know is at this point in my life, like Ari is here with MITA, and she's starting her own brand, and the obstacles that she has to overcome.
What are you starting?
Full cannabis line.
Like what? Like flower or
I'm
concentrate?
going to start with cartridges and diamonds, and then flowers.
She's not mic'd up, so probably people can't hear her, but she's starting her own cannabis line. But
Props
what frustrates me is when you have young entrepreneurs, you have people that want to get involved in the industry, and the barriers to entry are government barriers and licensing barriers. And to me, I think Ronald Reagan said this best. There was a Cuban refugee that came to the United States, and there was some American who was complaining about communism and stuff. And if America isn't the last bastion of freedom, of free enterprise, of choice, of free will, of an individual taking their skills, their knowledge, their resources, and a lot of people don't have capital, and doing something, what is? Where do you go? That guy came from Cuba to the United States. Where do we go to find our dreams? Where do the streets have no name? And I don't want a government. I don't want a system set up, whether it's in cannabis or anything else, that's restrictive of her dreams. That's just me pie in the sky
but
bullshit.
You're in that now.
Well, I know, but I don't like it.
The time to fix that is like 15 years ago when we started going off the rails. I mean, you're talking about free. I mean,
but
economically, we are not the freest country to operate.
No, but like in the cannabis industry or licensing, like for example, if you wanted to grow an orange in Arizona, you can grow some oranges. You can go start a farmer's market. And to me personally, it's just a philosophical outlook that I've come across, my libertarian spirit. That's where I want to, that's the legacy I want to leave behind. And the cannabis industry, and you know me, I started as a limited licensing nut. I doubled down on limited licensing. I'm like, okay, there should be no new licenses after medical into adult use.
They should let the social equities open.
Well, the social equities was a small thing.
What a fucking disaster.
All I was asking for was a small thing in there.
Are you going to be advocating on that stuff?
Yeah, we're coming back.
You need to focus on that bid. You realize that's a catastrophe waiting to happen. They have to open by October
of next year.
If you have I don't know when this is airing, but whoever is listening to me, please heed these words. I'm speaking to my dude Abel too, who I know has a social equity license. For the love of God, do not play with the Department of Health. Go to any shithole town in this state and get your license open. Please, for the love of God.
There are a lot of people who think that'll get.
I hope it gets moved, but I wouldn't play around. Like, please get those open, and if you're not going to open them, sell them.
But
and I agree with you, but
take your money and run. It's life changing. Don't feel bad about it. It doesn't matter. The people that are mad at you are full of shit.
I tell people take them out of here, but we had 4,000 people look into participating in the cannabis industry in the social equity program, and all I know is that like 1,200 of them, 1,300 of them applied. They paid the fee, they got partners to invest in them, and 26 won. What that means is that the hopes and dreams of 1,100 people, perhaps 4,000, were left on the sidewalk. And to me, I mean, cannabis industry, no cannabis industry,
with no refund.
I'm not okay with that,
right?
Because I care about people, the people that are out there, and I know you guys care about people too. And it's a tough thing to wrestle with, but
you think it should have just been refunded if they didn't win?
No, I think
that's fair.
Yeah, that's fair.
What are you? Sorry, what your conclusions were?
I think they should have all been allowed licenses, but that's not the law.
Well, here and then what
a lot of the people that applied weren't people who had been
right. No, I'm just saying. No, but I mean, even the social equity program in and of itself is limiting. So
if you qualify,
I'm just a free market guy.
Investors.
If here's a story that hasn't made a lot of headlines, although a lot of people, of course, know it, but I don't think it's been loud enough. The rules that restrict the social equity licenses from being in municipalities like Phoenix and many elsewhere were passed before the legalization vote happened in November of 20. Those municipalities were teeing themselves up to make sure that if it passed, if the rule passed for recreational, which is what drove the social equity licenses forward, that they wouldn't be able to open in these metropolitan areas. Yeah, I mean,
gotta help our
talk
guests.
About planning ahead, right? And everybody who applied for those licenses, most of them had no idea. And I will give credit to the Department of Health and the training that they did. I don't know if you guys watched that, but it was this 48-hour boot camp that anybody getting through 2 days of lessons is pretty tough.
I'll tell you what, that's right. There was some terrible advice given in that.
But when is there not? But there was a lot of really good stuff, but also complicated, right? From zoning to business to contracts and stuff. Like there was important things there that I thought was a really good look for the whole thing. I think that support needs to be extended into today. Well, who's the woman? Did you guys see the article? There's man, it just came out this week.
Alicia?
What's the Arizona Mirror? Yes. Deals.
Alicia, Deals, yeah.
Yeah.
She's a badass.
So I haven't met her, but I saw her name. I emailed her through.
Introduce you guys. I should introduce you guys.
I was just going to say, I feel like I've talked to her.
Maybe if you have, I should know, because I sent her an email. I was like, listen, any help you need, free of charge. Like, I'm not here to make anything off of you. I've been in your shoes to some degree, but her family background and how the effects on her and the candidates that we applied with, oh my God, their stories are heart-wrenching. Like, all these people deserve a chance.
I do want to just say, though, real quick, because some of the advice given on this thing, and let them come at me personally. This isn't a gross science.
Come at me,
Matt.
If you can get your license sold for $8 million, fucking do it.
I agree.
Please do not be crazy. No one is telling you the truth about what it takes to really open these things. The dilution of equity you're going to have to take on capital, the debt you're going to have to raise, what 280E taxes encompass, the race to the bottom you're going to fight to open the spot to get new customers, the fight you're going to have with the municipalities to open, the real estate you're going to have to acquire, the money you're going to have to put into the building, the brand relationships you're going to have to build, all these different things, okay? $8 million after taxes puts about $5.4 million in your bank. For the love of God, go take out rolling CDs, live off $240,000 a year tax free, and have that's generational wealth.
What's your
Do
fee?
not be foolish.
That's free.
It does not make you a bad person for cashing in on a lottery ticket.
I agree with you.
That's bullshit.
Just like you, and I would say like me, myself, there's plenty of people that will hear that. They'll completely agree, but they're not going to do it. And they're gonna, and she's one of them, which was what I thought was really compelling. Well, no,
they have
she's
the right
one
to
of those people. She wants to make a difference, and she knows she can't make a difference that way, or she feels she can make a better difference in.
But the truth of the
But
matter
she's prepared for what's coming.
I think so.
She's done. That's a person who's done the research. A lot of people, that won these.
Certainly not aware of all the.
I mean,
the hurdles.
Yeah, we're having these discussions with people, and they go, "What do you mean we can't open in Phoenix? What are you talking about?" They don't read the newspaper. Like, they're like, "What do you mean?" And I'm like, "Oh, you haven't gotten the bad news yet." Okay, like you can open this in about 8% of the entire state, and it's 3 hours. Like,
and
it's a total scam.
They have a piece of paper that's worth $8 million now. That's kind of the market right now.
I think it's about to go down $1 million a month.
And there's no guarantee that you're ever going to have a piece of paper worth that much again. And things will change.
Stigma that they should hold, and that was my issue with the training. Mike, everything Mike said is 100% true. That training was fantastic, but someone did come on that and said, people are going to come and offer you money for the license. This is intergenerational wealth. Hold on to it. Hold on to it. That is ghastly advice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was when the market was on fire.
There's a lot of operators today that have not made millions of dollars. If you can stress-free...
Most of them.
Yeah, most. If you can stress-free pocket lifetime money, you won.
Absolutely.
Don't go into this to be a billionaire. It is not going to happen today. True Leaf will sell to Constellation Brands for a couple billion. Probably not your social equity license, and FYI. That's okay.
And unless...
Take the win. That's a W.
And, some of them are like you. They have this, life experience and expertise. This is what you're good at. This is what I love, so I want to do it no matter what.
Yeah, it's
so that's the kind of thing, like, even if they sold, they would still want to do it because, like, they're like you.
That's who we've been searching out. So
I'm not a grower,
we
but...
We need the rules to change so that you can open a dispensary in Phoenix.
Yeah.
But basically, what we have had conversations with social equity holders is, I would love to partner with one that wants to be in this. I've actually met the guy I want to partner with. I just don't have a location to put it. But and I hope that he murders it.
Well, I have like 3 more that I'm gonna send you. Your way.
I'm just saying, like, this is we want to do a deal where they're in it with us because a grow sciences dispensary, even though I'll have very little to do with other than being inside, making sure our patients feel like I know I want them to feel.
You can be the director of First Impressions.
There you go.
He's got another title now.
That's the title.
What's Chief Cannabis Officer?
Sorry,
Director.
No, I'll tell you.
Chief Cannabis Officer, Director of First Impressions.
We want to make a dispensary
cultivation
built for patients that is truly a game changer experience. We have big
plans. You have 2 directors, maybe 3 of First Impressions. All they do is greet you and make you feel good at the door. You got one for senior citizens, middle age. And
I appreciate
my mom doesn't feel comfortable at a single dispensary.
Yeah.
So I need to build the experience. So like my mom's been anti-cannabis her whole life, like super like kicked out of my house over cannabis type situation. So, not until her very I lost my dad a couple years ago and she was having trouble sleeping, and my wife was like, Jane, eat half of this and just get back to me. And
Shut up.
it was really like that. I mean, it was really coming to those levels, So, whatever. So my mom ate half a rosin gummy, and to this day, will get anxiety if her jar is running low.
Oh
and
my
I have to
gosh.
go, to the dispensary, pick them up, and drop them off for her. But I feel like if I could get that experience to everybody in that age group, I have a message I'd love to say, and I'd love to hear from them. What are they thinking? Where are we at? Like, I'd love to hear where their thoughts are, because you got to remember, all the programming of that age group I'm trying to talk to has had, like, bad programming, just like I did growing up.
Absolutely.
I mean, I was taught the four
Just say
food
no,
groups.
Nancy
Nancy
Reagan,
Reagan.
fried bread.
You're supposed to have 4
Jinx.
servings of potatoes, pasta, milk.
You know about
Remember the
six?
4 food
Yeah, no,
groups?
I
Like,
agree with
that's
you.
what we
I'm
learned
like
in school. So
visualizing it.
Pyramid.
their programming was pot is, shit, and that's rooted in a lot of racist shit. Brandy was for
The
rich
devil's
white
lettuce, they
people,
call
and
it.
No, I agree with you. I agree
the
with
rest
you.
is pretty much
There's a
history.
huge
So
stigma
we
on
should be
it.
breaking that to move forward on this. But they're in. Like, it's funny, as people get older, they all of a sudden start to discover, like, fuck it, what do I got to lose? Let's try something. Now, that doesn't mean that they want to eat a quarter of mushrooms. That's bad.
Oh, we got to start talking about mushrooms.
Yeah, our
Let's
heads.
do it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
You know, I
Where's
took these
that?
two into the mountains with 12 other people to do mushrooms in
sounds
August.
great.
It was
Ari
so
and
much
Destiny.
fun.
yeah,
You guys
mushrooms
should-
are a thing.
We're doing another trip in February. You guys
Put
should
me
come.
on that invite.
You guys-
MITA, the Mushroom Industry Trade Association.
well, it's a thing. I
Yeah.
keep thinking to myself, we got to cut him off because he's giving away trade secrets. He's too open. He's too transparent. He's like, that's great.
He's unshackling it.
But that's your
But
success.
everyone knows this
He's real.
anyway.
People love
I'm not-
you because of
this is
this.
the-
You
no,
just
baby.
laid it
yeah,
out
these are
there.
the things people are afraid to
People
say.
should
you
pay
know?
for this podcast. You know what I'm saying? I'm
But
like,
no one owns this shit. That's
no,
the
it's
fucking
free.
problem
But
with cannabis.
we
no
both
one
feel-
owns cannabis.
But you and I mean,
That's the issue.
our souls are in these projects.
Yeah.
We want to give it away. We want to educate. We want to teach. We want to share. And that's what it's about.
If Mike and I don't get to do the retail experience, like if we don't get that chance to work our asses off for people in that regard, we're gonna feel like we left something on the table. So I get all that.
Is the DC place still open or
Oh yeah, it's open.
Oh yeah.
are you still part of that?
I am. Yeah, I
So-
I co-own it. It's for sale.
I want to be involved
He's
in
like,
the
"After this
first
conversation."
legal transaction. The first legal transaction where we get a pound sent from
Here to
Phoenix to DC. I want to get us there, and
Man,
I want
don't
that
know
to be a
if
big
we'll
deal.
be alive.
You prepared
I don't know
yours-
if we'll be alive. Do you
Yeah,
think?
I
Like,
think we'll be
Yeah,
alive.
we'll be alive. Oh no, we're.
but I'm
You're
also the guy
healthy.
that says like,
You're healthy. I'm a piece of shit.
It's
I'm
coming.
not gonna
If
make
Carrie
it.
Lake's
the
out there
world works in
listening,
mysterious
No,
ways.
you'll be fine. I'll be looking down. It'll be all good. I'll make sure
now
the
is the
flight's not
time
turbulent.
because the cultivations
We'll
in
FedEx
Oregon,
it.
Washington, Colorado, Arizona, California are up and running, and we can form intergovernmental agreements and stuff. If federal legalization was to happen now, tomorrow, you guys are at a tremendous advantage. Arizona's at a tremendous advantage. So now is the time in my book.
I'm going to challenge you to prep yourself for the inevitability that who's going to make it in this whole thing is Copper State.
And grow scientists.
I think that will have a direct-to-consumer thing, but I think people should prep themselves. There's a lot of good people working there. At the end of the day, that farm is so enormous. They'll figure it out at some point, and,
They'll
there's
figure it
gonna
out
be
at some point.
people-
That's the key, though. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm rooting for them because the better it gets, the better it gets for people.
I love Soulflower. I love Copper State. We have a great relationship with them. They produce good products. But for some reason, they don't have that same sort of cult following that you guys do. And why don't they?
I don't know, man. If you hang out at Soul McClintock, that
Yeah.
fucking line would say
I
differently.
think the
Is that cool?
Soulflower brand.
Because their bud tenders are so strong.
Yeah.
The
But
Soul
Soulflower,
Budtenders
the
are-
Soulflower experience is phenomenal,
Yeah.
and we're partnered with them under their license. We don't have a license, which is another thing that's funny that people don't. You're like, what do you mean you don't have a cannabis license? We rent the permission to cultivate from someone who does own a license, but they're our partners, and they have given us that opportunity.
An opportunity to get to know them a lot over these last
and
few years.
The Soulflower teams are exceptional. Just back to like the whole bud tender conversation.
I love those guys.
What's their in-house brands at Copper State? Can you guys help me out there?
Jukebox.
Oh yeah,
Jukebox?
jukebox. It's our
I don't know
cartridge
anything
company.
about their
Jukebox is
products.
Copper Stage?
Yeah.
I've seen all those hazy marijuana emails, and I
Good
had no
things
idea who
coming.
that was.
Yeah.
Good things
Good
coming.
things coming, of course. Yeah.
So, you
That's
know that's
popular.
Teresa Hansen's deal.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's the chef, Teresa
I
Hansen.
mean, what an incredible person, huh?
Yeah, she's
I
amazing.
mean, she's
She
like,
comes to meet all the
she's
time.
that next level.
Yeah.
I hope that as the books get written later on, her name is
No,
in
we're,
there on the edible side. Have you had her on here?
we are rooting for all the Arizona
She's
That's
brands.
in the process.
good
We'll
stuff.
get that
We,
done.
we are rooting for all the Arizona companies, whether it's flower or vapes, doesn't matter. We're
Well, there's a lot of good ones.
Yeah, absolutely. And we want to see,
Tons.
And the holiday party's better when we're all there. I
yeah,
promise.
we want to see
Yeah.
Arizona people succeed. And they're involved in a lot of different ways in the cannabis industry. But we didn't have a chance to dive deep into your guys' products as they're coming out in December and January. So what I want to do, because this is already at about an hour, and people.
That's because Mike talks too much.
No, it's good. What I want to do is focus, do a Canterbury Tales specifically about Canterbury Tales episode specifically about the brands and the nuances and differentiators and what you guys are doing that people will see on the shelves, and we'll get to that in the next episode because a 2.0 like
We can bring the whole spread.
it's
then,
like a
too.
sequel with you
Everything will be
guys.
live.
Actually, we can try it all. That's what we should.
Well, that's
do.
what we need to bring
Yeah,
Ari
I
in.
kind of wanted to
Yeah.
spark up one
I
right
was
here,
thought Ari.
right now.
So I've spent the last 35 minutes thinking Ari was just going to keep coming across. Like there's been hand signals. So
I
I've been
know,
like, I thought
like-
she's coming in.
Yeah, she's gonna come bring the lighter for
That's
this. right
okay.
now.
I guess the next
And
time.
she's our bartender.
You're gonna be a little sad.
I'll post you up on our IG with the with your new brand. Send me all that.
Just got word from backstage.
But,
the bottle is empty
I'm
and the
pretty
lighter
good at
is
industry
not here.
structures, and
You guys want some?
No, I'm so good.
You want some?
Zero sauce.
but that's
Hero
one of the
sauce.
things about Ari and Destinee. They have a tremendous in-depth knowledge of the product that
this
it just
later.
exceeds. It's
No, your team
extraordinary.
is solid.
Yeah, so I know
Very
when to
good.
step aside
Thank
and
you.
say industry, business, regulations, legislation. I get that policy. I'm really good at that stuff. But then I need to step aside, and we need to come back and do a Canterbury Tales about all the brands and the stuff you guys are releasing December or February 15th.
Can we lead that in with a video of Rita getting the chair out from under the bar today?
Yeah.
Which was a
Really?
15-minute
I was working
process of
struggle to
straight.
get this fifth chair.
Yeah.
If we don't have footage of that, we failed.
I got a nice arm workout, not gonna lie.
Alright.
And some core, you know?
So-
I did a little cardio this morning.
I
so
certainly
really-
appreciate you having us on and
No.
listening to us rant. Well,
And-
me rant and Mike speak intelligently.
And I forgot to
Thank you.
introduce
Both of you guys did
Woodstock and
phenomenal.
Yoda, who are the soul and wisdom behind MITA that are hanging out.
Are
up
you
there.
talking about Woodstock?
Woodstock and MITA and Yoda.
Next to the jar.
Yoda's okay. Yoda's got a lot of wisdom. Woodstock though is one of the real Avengers.
Yeah, but they said he's the soul of Snoopy. That's just kind of
It's well, Woodstock
Did
has
it come
even a
out?
bigger role than that. So Woodstock luckily keeps all of the neighborhood together. So Snoopy's kind of like the guardian
right.
of the Peanuts galaxy. So that's why he's always outside on the house. He's watching everything going by. You know, so
There you go.
those Polaroids.
That's
Who
pretty
doesn't
cool.
love a Polaroid?
No, Woodstock, Snoopy, and
Take one
Charlie
from him.
Brown
Yeah,
are.
take one.
No, you guys are much more
Oh,
focused.
so you're a big Woodstock fan.
Listen,
The button's on the front.
Have you been to Santa Rosa?
hold on. Let's take.
Is it too far though?
3.
Over in Santa Rosa during Hall of Flowers.
It's on the front, the red one.
Okay.
No one's used to this
1,
old
2,
tech.
3.
Have you been to Santa
Yeah, of
Rosa?
course. That's where I grew.
It'll take
So-
15
Yeah.
minutes to develop.
It blew my-
Schultz Museum.
There's-
you.
Can't touch it.
Her and I are over at Hall of Flowers for the first time, and there's fucking Snoopy's everywhere.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Snoopy's
Schultz.
he's the guardian of the neighborhood. Woodstock is his consigliere, and Charlie Brown is kind of like this boss. And what makes Peanuts so special is he's the first boss ever in like history that's actually just a really nice person,
Yeah.
and that's what everyone's drawn to Peanuts for. But Woodstock's got this just insanely difficult role, and the Peanuts is basically we should just live our lives.
So I
by
was
that
one of the
mantra.
people that didn't understand that.
Are you
concept.
making this stuff up, or
Never
this is
understood
true?
that.
If you're on our Instagram, you'll see I'll post Peanut stuff from time to time to get the message out there how to live life. But
I love that.
the Peanuts gang, Charlie Brown, Snoopy, Woodstock, they're the real Avengers.
Yeah,
No
that's
question
awesome.
about
I
it.
do
just
they
know
talk?
Woodstock as like the soul of Snoopy.
No, it's all of that.
Yeah.
it's all. But it's Snoopy's watching an entire neighborhood. That's a big job.
Wow. Well,
Big job.
we should end
You ever
on
hear
that.
something bad go down in Peanuts besides the the chick always grabbing his fucking football out from under him.
And the
voice they do?
Peanuts Christmas jazz album is one of the greatest of all time.
All time.
Vince Girardi,
All time.
one of the
And
greatest
still a
albums
well-priced 45
of all time.
Still a well-priced
So,
record, I might add. They
go
didn't
get
jack
that
the price.
record and
I
put
wish
it
I could
on
play
front
that
to
right
back.
now.
Every song is amazing.
Fantastic.
That dude died early. He was like
Way too-
45.
No, it's because he went out on top is what happened.
Okay, so I want you guys to promise me this: when we have products that people are going to see on shelves, the new products, and that you guys will come back, do a Canterbury Tales. We can hyper focus on that. We can avoid talking about Snoopy and licensing and all these other things, and we can hyper focus on the differentiators as to why it's one of the best products in the market. Is that we do that? That'll be
Sounds
the Canterbury
like
Dive
fun.
deep
Tales.
into
It's gonna
that.
be interesting.
We're gonna bring like 10 of us.
Bring as many people as you
Yeah.
want.
Stories.
So get your
Let's just
get your
do this.
setup.
Why
Why
don't
don't
film
you
at
do
your
this
place?
from the grow?
Yeah, I was gonna say like
we-
that's more personable.
We can probably do it. Ari, can you set it up?
No, we need a living
Let's do
room
it.
comfortable.
I like that idea.
The
Yeah.
lobby will
Are
be
you?
that.
Right,
But-
little mic set. Hello.
You got to do this with our team, though. I've
Yeah,
asked,
no,
we
every
need to-
one. I'm
let's
trying
do
to
it,
give
let's do
someone
it.
the greatest story in Phoenix.
Let's set the
They're not
studio
listening.
up
Let's
in a
do it.
bigger
Teams the
space.
story.
We can even rent the furniture if you don't have it. We'll find a room.
Mainly because I've done
do
this
it.
podcast.
Let's
and
go.
just murdered
Let's
it.
go.
Let's get the family.
Let's go. Yeah, let's go sit at the top of the Valley
The
Hotel,
only thing you don't want to do is order
and
food.
we'll do it
down.
there.
No, I'm-
Seriously.
Very
Some-
difficult process.
Virgin
to get
Bloody
food
Marys?
for our entire
I know
Game
when
for
to
that.
step aside, and Canterbury Tales is a great concept, but it's going to need individuals like Ari and Destinee hosting it and just
Are you gonna
talking
be
about
in
the
it?
product.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Instead of behind the scenes, Ari will be in front.
Are you all right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're great.
Good.
And this is more of a meeting. This is more of
How
a.
calm she
It
is.
just passes, you know.
This is
Move
this
forward,
is
You
right?
need some.
yeah. That we're not that unshackled, okay? So we can't talk about our emergency.
Oh, sorry.
But you're free to come up and talk about it. But this is more of like about who you guys are and your identities. And I think people got to know you pretty well. And then we'll do the Canterbury Tales more specifically targeted on the brands and the products that consumers can see coming from you guys on the shelves and get really in depth about that. And we'll get back to that at the sequel to MITA Unshackled,
Let's
Grow Sciences,
do it.
which
Thank
will be
you.
Canterbury Tales.
This was really good, I think.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, thank you.
You guys for coming on the show.
You guys look phenomenal.
I snap.
No,
Snap,
that's
snap,
good.
Oh,
snap,
you're better than
snap.
everybody? You have to snap?
I'm quiet.
That was another episode of MITA Unshackled.
I can't wait to see how they turn out.
No, that's
Oh, there
good.
you go.
People get to know you guys really well. That's the
Dude,
key.
this picture's really,
That was good.
this one's really magic. That's you looking at the poster.
Why are the other Polaroids not cool?
Can I spark this up in
This
here,
was like
Demitri?
the one I bought came with like a special.
got a lighter?
Yeah,
Throw one
it
at
was
me.
like a.
Right?
Whatever
Got a
you want to do.
lighter?
What?
Whatever we want to do.
Oh, be careful.